Right, I'm just going to go through this very, very quickly. All I'm trying to do here is to introduce you to lots of different ways that you can do GIS in schools. We've been doing this for a long, long time. Stephen and myself and Sally have worked on this for about 7, nearly 10 years now. That's scary. So all I'm going to do now is just present several ways by which you can leave here today and know that you can do something once you go back to the classroom. I'll give you just a very quick overview. It's excellent. It's Geographic Information Systems. It's sort of Google Earth. Whenever I told people I did GIS years ago, I told them and they quickly turned to talk to somebody else. But now I just say it's Google Maps on your phone, sat-nav, and they get it. So it's the technology for the industry. Eddie went into some of those figures earlier on, but it's STEM, it's remote sensing, GIS, IT, all those different elements that make up GIS. It's decidedly cross-curricular. Stephen and myself have always tried to get away from the idea that it's just geography. It's not just geography. There's some amazing stuff happening in biology, history, maths, lots of different areas, so don't just think about it as geography. We don't want to give it away. We believe fundamentally that it is a geographic application, but it's geography that supplements lots of different things in there as well. So, big industry. These are the 6 things that I'm just going to go through, and I promise I'll be quick. So 6 pathways to implementation. So the first one is a GIS manual. Over the last 6 years, we have used or helped our students use things terrible. That's not meant to be. Our students have gone off in final year and actually created GIS manuals for free that are available to teachers. Those manuals are written, they already exist, they're up online, so they have all the data with them. They're essentially ways by which you can follow a step-by-step guide created by our students to look at a geographical aspect. We have a bank of about 80 manuals. Now that comes with a caveat. The older manuals are for older software, so you will see differences between the older manuals. The software updates quite regularly, but it will still give you a step-by-step guide to what is done online. So there are about 80 manuals that we already have. They cover everything. Hannah did a fantastic bit of work on artificial defibrillators across Northern Ireland. So there's loads of, or atrial defibrillators. So there's loads of stuff that we have done. There's crime, migration, hurricanes. They're all written as manuals, and you can essentially get those manuals for free. It takes a little bit of time for me to actually cleanse them, do spelling mistakes or anything like that, and get them to you. I think the most sustainable way for us to move forward in this is that I give you them as a Word document and then you edit them, bearing in mind all those different things that could be in the manual, but they are there and they're an incredibly valuable way to do GIS in classrooms. I'll come back to these 2 terms a bit later in the talk, but there's essentially support there to do that as well. The second one is tutoring in schools. In your pack, I've given you a page, a double-sided page on tutoring in schools. It's essentially a voluntary scheme for Ulster students, so you get somebody like Hannah or Ursula or Johnny coming out into a school. You ideally propose a project. Now that could literally be a geography project in my school. It doesn't have to be specific, but you propose a project and a student is assigned to your school between February and May. They come in then for around 32 hours. That can wiggle a little bit if needs be, over about 15 weeks. Those students have access and eye checks, they're fully vetted, everything for a classroom. They then come in and they can do anything geographic in the class. They are a very good resource. They can do GIS with you. You can get them to do something, you can task them, they'll go off and prepare it. But it is a totally voluntary scheme. But tutoring in schools is very, very good. And a number of you in here have supported us in that, and we really appreciate that. But it is voluntary and a good scheme in there as well. They don't have to just do GIS, they can do anything at all in the school. GIS short course for teachers. Again, some of you have done this with us before. It's gone through several iterations between Stephen, Sally and myself. It is now very blended, as in it's dependent mostly on online virtual learning environment. You would come here for 1 day or a half day, sort of 9 to 3ish, and we would run GIS exercises and bring you up to scratch with some of the stuff that we're doing. There is the optional assessment for 10 master's level credits. If you're interested in that, talk to Stephen and he'll give you an overview, but that will be February time. Typically over the last number of years we've done a day in February where you come in for that day and then you use a virtual learning environment to support that as well. Very good, but it gives you some hands-on skills, introduces some things to you as well. Fourth one is Royal Geographic. Ursula is the only person with a t-shirt, but Royal Geographic Society is a huge scheme that's funded by Esri, and Esri are the global brand for GIS. They are the multi-million-dollar industry, and they fund this Royal Geographic Society. It's a fantastic opportunity for our students, it's fantastic for you, but it's designed to promote geography as a fun subject in schools. So you'll get a student coming in for roughly about 45 minutes, and they will come in and do fun stuff. That can be careers in geography, it can be hurricanes, it can be volcanoes, it can be any amount of things that you want them to do, but they're there to try and excite kids about geography. One caveat with this as well is they are not Access NI checked. There is no checking of students before they come into the classroom. RGS don't do that simply because they don't think a student should be on their own with kids. They always say that they should be accompanied by a teacher, so that is a slight difference from tutoring in schools, but it's very short. It's designed as 45 minutes to an hour, and they'll come in and do loads of stuff. They travel in packs. They like coming together as a group of students, and some of our best lessons, I know Jackie supported Connie and a few other people, but they come in and they do a really, really good lesson for 45 minutes or an hour. And they'll also, from the Royal Geographic, bring tons of resources. I got about 10 pencils and I'm not giving them up, but there's loads of things coming with them, but it's a really good scheme. The pro side for our students is that they actually get RGS accreditation sort of stuff with it as well, so it's really good for them. DIY with training. I was going to go through this, but I'm not. I think a number of you seen Stephen and me doing this at CCA days a number of years ago. But all these links are live. I'll send you this PowerPoint so you can click on the links. They're all updated. You can go through it on your own. Again, if you're unsure on things, you can get in touch and we can go through it with you. But there's road traffic stuff, loads of interactive maps in Ninus. How many of you know Ninus? In Israel, yeah, loads of you. Downloadable data. AOMBs, ASSIs, you can map all this for free in about 5 minutes. Police UK is a tremendous website that allows you to look at crime. Again, you have to be careful because some kids say, "Oh, well, that was me last Friday night," or whatever. You just have to bear that in mind. Crimes. The other thing that gets me really interested is the fact that you can look back in time. So you can look at different types of crime going back multiple years in the past. So a really fantastic resource. And you can do stuff on River's Edges. Again, a very, very good website. Phil's alluded to it already, but lots and lots of stuff online you can use there. And the last one is Esri. Shameless tweeting of a few of you in the audience, but this is Esri, as I said, are the global brand. Years ago they said schools have to pay £100 for Esri ArcGIS Online. A few years ago they realised the error of their ways, and it's now completely and utterly free for ArcGIS Online for schools. You need to sign up as a school using that link, but then you get access to the full whistle and bang GIS Online application. So you can actually do analysis, you can go out into the field as Alistair's done, use your phone, collect data, it comes up online whenever you're back in the classroom. It is very, very impressive, but it is a big application. There is some learning involved in that, but it's certainly possible. It's web-based, so you can do it for homework. It's web-based, so you don't need any fancy hardware. All you need is an internet connection. So it gets rid of all of those IT problems that were there years ago. Most schools can essentially pick it up and run with it pretty quickly. There's also links to mobile apps, so you can put apps onto your phone, get kids to look at noise pollution or collect river data or whatever you want. And it is all mapped as soon as they come back into the classroom. So very, very exciting way to capture data, map data, and visualise and analyse that data as well. There's also story maps. How many of you heard of those? For a few of you, they're very good and they're getting better all the time. But essentially with this free application from Esri, you can do story maps, you can analyse and do all of these things for free, just with a bit of teaching in there as well. that's the main things I wanted to show. The pack itself, can I borrow a pack, please? Sorry, Jack. In the pack, I have written or updated a whole GIS manual here. So my goal with this is to take you from ground zero to using GIS online for free without any cost whatsoever. I'm basically showing you a public account that anybody can sign up for, but if you go for the full application from Esri, you can do all of this anyway, but lots and lots more. But I'm assuming that you won't do that immediately. So this assumes just a public account, and you can go home, get onto Google, and you can start doing stuff right away. I think what I have done is just showing you how to make map notes, digitise rivers, bring in different layers, a whole range of different things. So that pack's free. You can look at that again. If you have questions, you can ask us. We are around to help, but it's designed to allow you to walk away today and have something that you can actually use. Okay, so that's really the majority of things that we wanted to convey today. Avril from marketing has been a phenomenal support to us over the last year extra, more than that. She's given us lots and lots of help today, but she wanted me to show to you the school open days. These are things where we bring in families, we bring in teachers and kids and let them see what we have. Jordanstown is important for us, Magee not so much, because we don't go as a school to Magee anymore, but we go to Jordanstown. Colerane's our biggest event, and Belfast we're also at it as well. So there's a number of school open days that we do go to, and certainly you should be aware of those if you want to know more. I've told you about the packs. Your car parking, just make sure you get that validated on the way out at one of the yellow stands. You just have to put that in before you leave. The feedback is really, really important to us. As you appreciate today, this is the first time we've done this. You've seen some general talks that I think have been fantastic. We've given you a lot of overview, but you've seen more specific things. So we really need your feedback today to find out next year, A, what we should do, and B, how we should do it. So is it sustainable settlements? Is it dynamic coastal environments again? Is it cyber geography? What exactly do you want to see on the curriculum? We do intend to do this as an annual event, so you also need to tell us when would suit. It obviously has to fit our schedule, it has to fit your schedule, of course, but is June a good time to do it? If it's a good time, that's great, just tell us that. But please give us as much feedback as you can. I'm a very sensitive soul, so don't say anything too nasty. Just try and make it as constructive as you can. A huge thanks to Niamh and Susan and Maura. Thanks to all the staff that have taken part. Everybody's very, very busy during exam time, so I really appreciate all the talks that have been done. But a big thanks to you as well, because without you, we couldn't do geography in schools, we wouldn't have students coming into us, and we really appreciate you taking the time to come up today as well. Tweet away if you can get online, that's good. This is our handle, but I've also shown you this link here. This is a website that I maintain myself, and it's full of GIS resources for free. So it's online data sets, online software, any news that's about GIS and stuff, but again, that will be available. Yeah, I think that's everything. So if you want the PowerPoints, I'm getting the impression that pretty much everybody wants the PowerPoints from today, that's fine. We'll try and get that. We'll also try and make all the video recordings available. That'll take a few days to do that, but we'll try and be in touch with them the next couple of weeks as a resume of what we've done from today. And if anybody has any questions, ask us at lunch. I'm very hungry. So lunch is now. You'll not be back down here again. Essentially, once you go up to lunch, you can leave on that level. And I really appreciate your time. Thank you very much indeed.